Whispers became shouts inside Buckingham Palace as the unthinkable happened. Princess Anne the Spare was quietly voted in as ceremonial head of state, while Camilla, his queen consort title, was reportedly revoked. No grand announcement. No cameras. Just silence and power shifting behind closed doors. King Charles's declining health triggered a royal emergency, but what came next shook the monarchy. Was this loyalty or a calculated coup? Camilla is said to be devastated and unshaken, and William, unusually quiet, has Britain just welcomed its most unexpected queen. Or is this only the beginning of the firm's greatest power struggle yet? And seized control, it happened quietly, almost too quietly, while the public focused on King Charles's health battles. Something dramatic was unfolding behind the scenes. A secret vote by the Privy Council handed Princess Anne the ceremonial role of head of state. The vote, reportedly initiated during an emergency session, stunned even those inside the royal inner circle. This was no ordinary reshuffling, it was a seismic shift, and tradition historically regency or ceremonial headship falls to the heir Prince William. But this time that rulebook was tossed aside and was chosen not by bloodline, but by merit, described by one council member as the only royal with an unbroken record of loyalty and awe to public duty. Her appointment was immediate, confidential and symbolic, and it came with whispers that Camilla as queen consort title may have been quietly revoked. Insiders say the queen consort name was absent from ceremonial briefings that followed. One source stated bluntly there was no mention of Camilla, none. A new role wasn't just a placeholder, it was a signal that amid Charles's declining health, the firm needed clarity, control and credibility. But what was it that truly set this chain of events into motion? The answer lies in a health crisis that shook the royal household to its core. Charles' health crisis triggered the coup. The turning point was sudden and somber. When King Charles made his cancer diagnosis public, it wasn't just a personal revelation, it triggered a behind-the-scenes scramble among royal aides and senior government officials. The firm had to act fast. Britain needed a face, a guide, a steady hand, especially with global instability rising, and was quietly tapped during those early contingency meetings, while the king focused on treatment aid. Discussed the risk of a monarchy without visible leadership. One senior official reportedly said, "We needed someone who wouldn't rattle the institution," and was the only name with unanimous respect. And so the plan was activated. William, still preparing for kingship and deeply involved in family life, didn't object. He understood the timing. Camilla, on the other hand, was sidelined. Insiders claim she was not present at the planning sessions and was only notified after an selection had already taken place. Her reaction, described as tense and hurt, was kept behind power. Alice Walls. This was a pivot toward unity and reliability, two things Anne embodies, as one advisor put it, and doesn't want power, that's why she's perfect for it. In a crisis, character trumps hierarchy, and Anne's character had already passed every test as Anne stepped forward. One figure quietly disappeared from ceremonial circles. Camilla's fall from grace was as quiet as it was devastating. Camilla's fall from grace. Behind the gilded doors, change swept fast. Once seen as a stabilizing queen consort, Camilla, his role began to shrink. It started with the titles. Internal memos now leaked referred to her once again as the Duchess of Cornwall. For a woman who spent years fighting for legitimacy, this was a devastating rollback. Reports claim Camilla was devastated. One royal staffer recalled she broke down behind closed doors. She called it a thief. Though she continues to make appearances, her influence has noticeably diminished. No more high-level briefings, fewer one-on-one audiences, and most critically, silence from King Charles. Camilla had always battled public doubt, but within the palace she'd earned growing respect. That foundation cracked the moment and was elevated. One advisor noted the message was clear. When things fall apart, they turn to him, not Camilla. The optics are harsh, but unmistakable. As one insider put it, Camilla fought for her place and didn't have to. The shift isn't just symbolic, it's strategic, and it leaves Camilla, his future, hanging by a thread. With Camilla receding from the spotlight, the throne placed its full confidence in a woman who spent a lifetime in service and greatest strength, a reputation that's never needed repair, and reputation for duty pays off. Princess and didn't earn her place by scheming or self-promotion. She earned it by showing up year after year, event after event. She worked harder than anyone else in the firm, often overlooked in headlines, and quietly became the most consistent and trusted royal. Known for her steely work ethic, military loyalty, and no-nonsense manner and persona, has always been rooted in one word: duty. Unlike others in the royal sphere, and has never chased the spotlight. She doesn't sell books, she doesn't grant revealing interviews. And that's exactly why senior figures, both political and royal, trust her now more than ever. As one prime minister reportedly said, when and speaks, it isn't for attention, it's because something truly matters. Her decades of service across the Commonwealth and in various military regiments have built a reputation that even critics respect, and image is unblemished by scandal. Unlike many and her family, her loyalty to the late Queen Elizabeth was legendary, and it's no surprise that legacy is now serving her in this unprecedented moment. One royal to describe the decision simply: in times of chaos, the crown turns to its anchor. And that anchor is in many ways, the quietest royal has now become the most powerful, not because she wanted it, but because the monarchy needed her. While Anne steps into this stabilizing role with calm resolve, her appointment came with another ripple effect. The media and public suddenly had questions. What exactly does being ceremonial head of state mean in today's royal context? And why now? What is a ceremonial head of state? Though it may sound symbolic, the position of ceremonial head of state during a monarch's illness carries tremendous weight, especially in the court of public opinion. Princess and isn't being handed the crown, but she is being asked to embody its spirit. With King Charles stepping back for treatment and now signs off on ceremonial documents, leads high-profile state functions and acts as the monarchy's visible face. This move is particularly significant because it changes the emotional center of the monarchy. Traditionally, this role would pass to the heir Prince William, but in this rare exception, the crown opted for experience over title. As one political commentator explained, this is like appointing the chief operating officer to keep the company steady while the CEO recovers its business. But royal, and is already attending events Charles would have presided over. She's reportedly overseeing formal correspondence, hosting select diplomatic meetings, and working closely with Parliament liaisons to keep continuity intact. Her presence has brought calm to a nervous institution. Media coverage reflects the shift. Headlines read: Princess Anne, the People's Shield, and why Britain trusts the spare citizens, and isn't just stepping in, she's stepping up. And yet the most glaring question remains: why didn't this role go to Prince William, the heir apparent? The answer reveals more than strategy. It reveals a palace playing the long game. Why not William? It's the question everyone's asking, and for good reason. Why was Prince William, the direct heir to the throne, passed over in favor of his Anne? The answer, according to multiple palace sources, isn't rejection. It's timing. William is still preparing for his reign, balancing young family life and legacy responsibilities. And crucially, the monarchy wanted to protect him, not overburden him. Palace insiders say William was quietly supportive of the decision, far from being sidelined. He's playing a strategic role behind the scenes. One aide put it bluntly, he's building the monarchy of the future, and is protecting the one we have right now. William's attention has remained on his children George, Charlotte and Louise, and ensuring their emotional and symbolic place in royal history is secure. There's also a sense that thrusting William into the ceremonial spotlight too soon could ignite public speculation about Charles's reign coming to a close. The monarchy doesn't want that narrative, not now, and provides a convenient, respected alternative to bridge the gap without destabilize. Using the succession order, and let's not forget the optics, William taking over ceremonial duties during his father's illness might appear opportunistic, and on the other hand seems like the wise steward, not the ambitious successor. But while William chose restraint, Camilla, his absence from the process raised eyebrows, and behind closed doors her loyalists are quietly regrouping, setting the stage for a possible countermove. Camilla's loyalist foes behind the grand walls of Buckingham. Palace whispers have grown louder. Camilla, his allies, a quiet but persistent group of courtiers, aides and aristocratic supporters, are reportedly furious. They see and knew ceremonial authority, not his duty, but as a power grab. One insider was blunt, they feel blindsided. Camilla was meant to share the crown, not be pushed behind it. While Camilla has remained publicly silent, her inner circle is said to be exploring restoration options. Whatever that may mean, could she petition Charles to reassert her ceremonial title? Could a new council vote shift favor back to her line? These questions are swirling behind locked palace doors. Loyalists claim Camilla still has access to Charles and influence over his decisions, especially while he undergoes treatment. There's also personal attention boiling beneath the surface. Camilla reportedly views and move not just as betrayal, but as a humiliation. She fought tooth and nail for Queen Consort, said one former aide, and in a single week it was symbolically stripped away. Royal diaries suggest Camilla is now pulling back from public events, but not out of defeat. She's allegedly recalibrating her position, waiting for the right moment. The danger now lies in division. If Camilla loyalists continue pressing her case, the palace risks descending into factionalism. The quiet alliance between Charles and William could be challenged from within unless a new consensus is reached. As these tensions grow, the outside world watches closely. What does the public think about this sudden shift in power? Is it viewed as a wise guardian or an overreach? The answer is complicated, and it's playing out in headlines, polls, and online battles, old school or reactionary. The British public and much of the Commonwealth has always been deeply emotional about the monarchy. This time is no different. As news of an elevation spread, the reaction was swift and divided. In 1 week, hashtags like #Queen and Now and On Stand With Miller trended simultaneously. Polls showed a stark split, have Soren as a stabilizing force, the other half viewed her as bypassing royal tradition. Many older Britons see and roll as a return to no-nonsense royalty, a throwback to Queen Elizabeth's era of stoic service. One editorial in the Telegraph read, "And is the iron spine the monarchy forgot it had." Conversely, younger audiences on social media argue this undermines the clear line of succession. William is the heir, why isn't he leading? One viral tweet asked, gaining over 300,000 likes. The press has jumped into with contrasting takes. The Daily Mail dubbed it the Crown's quiet coup. The Guardian labeled it stability or the last gasp of an outdated system. Public opinion is volatile, and the palace is walking a tightrope between honoring tradition and appearing out of step with modernity. Meanwhile, Camilla, his defenders point out the emotional toll. She spent 2 decades earning her place, only to see it erased in a matter of days. Photos of her looking isolated at recent events have sparked sympathy, though some still find her presence controversy, all due to Diana's enduring shadow. Ultimately, the monarchy's image has entered a new phase. It's less about who wears the crown and more about who embodies the values people respect right now and represents steadiness. But how long can that hold without conflict? Amid the noise, one figure has remained calm and calculating: Prince William. He hasn't taken sides, but make no mistake, he's deeply involved, and what he's doing behind the scenes may be more powerful than any speech. Prince William's role behind the scenes. Prince William may not have taken the ceremonial crown, but he's not sitting on the sidelines. Palace insiders describe him as the invisible architect of the current royal alignment, while and commands public attention. William is reportedly strategizing every move from the shadows. He was present during the Privy Council vote, offering input without pressure. One senior source told the press his silence wasn't absence, it was control. In an institution built on appearances, William's quiet influence is proving just as powerful as visible leadership. Aides say he advised the council to choose and believing the monarchy needed a neutral face while Charles heals. Even more telling is the way William has handled internal drama. He's kept communication open with Camilla, ensuring no doors are closed. He stood by his father while discreetly aligning with in every move. He's practicing what may one day be his most important skill: ruling with balance. One quarter described William as the calm in the royal storm. He's allegedly taken more responsibility in organizing state functions, coordinating with Parliament, and overseeing preparations for future succession talks. His growing political awareness is becoming essential as the monarchy enters a period of re-evaluation, and perhaps most symbolic, he has remained deeply close to Kate and their children, signaling that his own legacy is rooted in stability, not drama. William's leadership isn't loud, it's layered, strategic, and increasingly effective. But while William builds bridges, another royal figure finds herself quietly repositioned, one whose titles once defined an era. What's next for Camilla now that the crown has shifted? Her future may no longer be golden. Camilla, his future. Camilla, his position within the monarchy has always been complex. Once seen as the controversial outsider, she slowly climbed her way into public favor, and eventually the title of Queen Consort, but now with an rise or footing seem is dangerously unstable. Whispers from inside the palace suggest that Camilla, his status is quietly being wreaked havoc. Arrived no longer active, but honorary. One royal insider claimed they're using the term Queen Dowager in memos out of tradition, not power, while Camilla retains her marital status as queen. Her access to key royal privileges appears to be shrinking. Invitations to high-level council meetings have reportedly dried up. Her ability to influence ceremonial planning has vanished. Even her office is rumored to be shifting back to Clarence House, a symbolic downgrade. More significantly, her patronage, ears, and public appearances are being re-evaluated. Several of her charities have been told to prepare for reduced visibility. One royal staffer bluntly said she may remain queen in name, but the crown has moved elsewhere. If this continues, Camilla, his legacy could be defined not by her tenure, but by her removal. What comes next? There are rumors she may retreat completely from public life. A quiet relocation, a graceful exit, and a life lived mostly in private. But Camilla is not one to go quietly. Whether she fights or fades, her reign, however brief, has shifted forever. While Camilla wrestles with this looming invisibility, another force continues to grow stronger. Princess and known for avoiding drama may actually be working on something larger. A recent move suggests not just ceremonial loyalty but long-term strategy and hidden agenda. On the surface, princess and role is clear-cut: fill the gaps, serve the crown, and step aside once King Charles recovers, but palace watchers and constitutional insiders believe, and may be doing more than just holding the line, she may be repositioning the monarchy itself. Unlike others in her family, and has no taste for fame or politics, her decades of quiet service have made her the ideal non-threatening face of authority. But that trust may be her sharpest tool. Insiders claim, and is quietly advising on post-Charles succession protocols, refining ceremonial roles and influencing the next phase of William's reign. In essence, she may be architect in a monarchy that balances Charles's progressive ideals with Queen Elizabeth's timeless tradition. One observer put it best, and isn't making a power grab, she's preserving the kingdom's balance. By staying a political, loyal, and humble, she has achieved what few royals have: bipartisan respect that makes her uniquely powerful, not in headlines, but in decisions. She's also reportedly coordinating closely with Parliament. There are whispers she may be guiding plans to stabilize royal appearances during upcoming elections. Her role may be ceremonial, but her impact is constitutional, and unlike Charles, where William and has no children seeking royal power, making her the perfect neutral guardian, as one political columnist wrote, and is the monarchy's firewall, quietly keeping it from burning down. But even the strongest firewall can't stop shifting allegiances. As it gains ground, the royal family's physical movements are starting to reflect the deeper shifts in power, whose lives were now says more than any press release. The royals' divided lodgings. If the palace map could speak, it would tell a story of change. The one central hub of Buckingham Palace is now quiet. King Charles and Camilla have reportedly withdrawn to the Tower Flatter section of the palace, closed off from major state activity. Insiders say Charles receives daily medical treatment. They're often alone, save for a handful of long-time aides. Meanwhile, William and Catherine have moved into an annex, said Clarence House, not just for comfort but for strategic positioning. From there, William holds private briefings, future planning meetings, and regular calls with Parliament and foreign leaders. His role may be behind the scenes, but his location puts him right at the heart of royal transition operations. Princess and Center, ever loyal to routine, has returned to Royal Lodge, but this time with a twist. Her quarters now host daily ceremonial briefings and council reviews. Staff report seeing senior advisors arrive at dawn and depart late at night. One source joked it's like Windsor has become the new Whitehall. This new layout tells a quiet truth: the monarchy is physically and symbolically shifting away from Charles and Camilla. Movement patterns suggest and is now the bridge between past and future, coordinating his wishes while paving the road for William's reign. And that raises the ultimate question: is this just a temporary shuffle or a glimpse into a new royal order? As history reminds us, shifts like these are rare, but not without precedent. Rare, but not impossible. At first glance, and becoming the ceremonial head of state might seem unthinkable. After all, royal protocol has always favored kings and male heirs, but history as always tells a different story. There's precedent, and it's powerful. In the early 1700s, Queen Anne ruled with full sovereign authority during a period of extreme political instability. Though she wasn't a placeholder, or reign showed Britain that a woman, even one not originally destined to rule, could bring calm and continuity. More recently, the Regency Acts of the 20th century laid out contingency framework